All right, I'm here with Lucy, and Lucy is a English cream who is a little bit reactive to other dogs. In this video, I'm going to go over some tips that you can use to help change your dog's emotional state when it sees other dogs. This is a variation of something we like to call the engage-disengage game. Now, I've enlisted the help of their neighbors who are standing over there with Gaston, and what's the other dog's name? Gaston, I can't remember the other dog's name, he told me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be treating her for looking at the other dog. Now, I use the sit as an indicator. If she won't sit when she's looking at other dogs, that might be her way of saying that they're too close, i.e. too intense. So I asked for a sit just to indicate that. If I ask the dog to sit and won't sit, I walk 5 feet away and try again. Now, she's not really that reactive to these dogs. This is really more of a demonstration video. So Lucy, come here. So what I'm going to do is position myself on the side. All right, ready for you guys. Thank you, yes. Yep, just walk there and back. Yes. So all I'm doing is when Lucy looks at them, I'm, yes, saying her marker word and then giving her a treat. And this is called this is the engage part of the exercise. Now we're so far away that she's more interested in the dog across the street, so I'm going to take a couple steps closer. Lucy, sit. Now I don't want to get so close that I trigger a response. The whole point of this exercise, there's no responsive whatsoever. Go ahead. Keep going, yep. Yes. Yes.
Thanks, Barry.
Let's get a little bit closer. Sit. Now at this point, she's more interested in the treats than she is the other dog. So I'm going to kind of help her out by moving over here. Let's do one more. Sit, Lucy. And I'm just using the sit right now just to kind of keep her in this right position. Now I might be using too high a value treats because she's really interested, yes, in me. Guys, thank you very much. Have a great day. So the engage-disengage game, the first part of it, are we still recording? Yep. Okay, the first part is rewarding the engagement. So when she looks at the other dog, we say yes and give her a treat. Now let's say the other dog is right there. So Lucy, when she's looking at the other dog, I say yes, and then she's going to turn after enough practice to look at me, because yes means I'm about to get a treat. So I want to be positioned not between the dog and the person. I want her to look that way. When I say yes, she's turning away from the dog. This is called, right now we're rewarding her engaging with the other dog. After a while, yes. After a while, what will happen is if the camera is the dog and I'm Lucy, I'm going to look, and the handler, like say, is right here, I'm going to look at the dog and I'm going to look away, anticipating getting that treat. Then we change the mark. So right now, if you're the dog, yes, and then I turn and get the treat. But eventually, if you're the dog, yes, I reward for looking away from the other dog. Now, we were about 25, well, probably about 40 paces away from the dog. That probably was a little bit greater distance. It's okay to be conservative, but we don't want to be so far away that the dog is indifferent. We're looking for a neutral or neutral positive response from the dog. So if the other dog is just easily distracted, take a couple steps closer, find that distance. You want to get as close as you can without her reacting. Now, if we look at her body, you can see her in the video, right? Yep. So you see her mouth is open. See her ears are normal. When she's about to start erupting, her mouth is going to close and she's probably going to change the position of her ears and she might lower her head. Her tail might go up or be stiff. Her body's going to get stiff and she's going to hold her breath or breathe really heavily. So if you can recognize those signs, we don't want her to erupt. Yes, there we go, Frogger. So if that's the case, we might move one pace away, make it a little bit easier. We don't want to make it always so hard that she's super stressed. And this is, speaking of stress, this is a stressful activity. So we don't want to practice this for like 10 minutes, even though for us it's just like she's just sitting there getting treats. This is like her riding a roller coaster. Even though she's not moving, it's such an intense experience, it's going to drain a lot of energy, and she's already a low energy dog, as you can see. So when you do this, I would practice for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, walk away from the other dogs, give her like 5 minutes to do this, give her some belly rubs, whatever she likes, go back, practice for another 3 to 5 minutes, maybe do that 3 times, and then another 5-minute break, practice 3 minutes, and then end. Now it's important we always end on a good repetition. The last part of the exercise is what she's gonna remember the most. So during this sort of rehabilitation, what we wanna do is avoid having her react to dogs at all. So that means we don't go by houses that she's going to be reactive. The house on your block, cross the street so you're walking far enough away. We don't want her to practice that behavior, while at the same time, mindfully, a couple of times, ideally like 3 times a week, we're going to a place where we can practice for maybe that 15 minutes in 3 sections, and she's practicing getting closer to those other dogs. Now, if you get too close and she reacts, I call it getting greedy. We want to avoid that at all costs. But eventually, after a while, you might do that maybe every 2 or 3 practice rep. Maybe you practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe on Fridays, I do get close enough to she starts to react, or I start seeing those signs of a closing mouth. I want to make sure I'm making good progress. I don't want to go so slow that it's too slow. But I also don't want her to react. Now, it's also important to note that training is not a linear process. It's not going to be a bell curve where it constantly gets better and better and better. You're going to have better, and then we have a day, it's an off day. People usually call us and they're like, it's not working anymore. It just is you're having an off day, or there's something that's also called an extinction burst. When we say extinction for dogs, we want an extinction of her dog reactivity. That means she doesn't do it anymore. But when dogs are changing and modifying their behavior, towards the end, sometimes they'll like do it again and again and again because it used to work for years. This used to get the dog to go away or whatever it is. So sometimes if that happens, that's almost a good thing because you're almost at the end. But the idea for this is if we pull the leash, if we jerk her, we tell her no, we're not listening to what she's communicating to us. What we're trying to change is how she fundamentally thinks about the other dogs. Instead of being a threat, something I bark at to make it go away, I like looking at dogs because it means I'm going to get a treat. There we get a dog across the street, she can hear it, but she's not reacting. Well, this is my buddy Lucy, and these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that likes to be reactive to other dogs on walks.